Seeing none, we'll close that proportion of the meeting, and we'll go over to our work session, if you will. Council, looking at the minutes of the council work session of September 4th, 2014, and the regular council meeting of September 9th, 2014. Those are the only two that you currently have. Any additions or corrections? Sharon informed me that their Citizens Night meeting of October 9th will be in your packet for tomorrow. You'll be able to review that and comment on that on Tuesday. But on the first two, any corrections or additions? Seeing none, moving over to our reports of our tax collections. Once again, council, any additions or corrections? Seeing none, moving over to our payroll report. Any issues with our payroll report, council? On our list of bills and budget transfers, Tom, we'll start off with you. Any issues?
No issues.
Steve?
I have none.
JJ?
Nothing, sir.
Ron?
Yes, just one. And I talked to Mr. Little and the finance officer about it, which is going to be corrected, because he finds things to be like this, I guess, regularly. But if you look on page 56 of your list of bills, it looks like that the municipality wrote the Relief Association, the Firemen's Relief Association, a check for $199,000 and change, when in fact that was received from the state. And part of the problem is, if you go back to page 17 under the second category of your pack there, it's categorized under fire department contributions, which budgeted is $47,500, which is a small amount of money to each station. But minus that check, it puts the budget line item in a hole by $180,000. That money is a pass-through. It's not Monroeville taxpayer money. It comes from the state and it goes to the Relief Association for certain expenditures. So I asked him if he'd make a separate line item out of that and show it coming in and then going back out again. So there's no problem. I just wanted to explain that to everybody, so somebody doesn't see it and think it's an expenditure from the municipal budget.
Very good. Ron, any other issues?
That's it.
Nick?
No questions.
Linda?
No questions.
Very good. And we'll move over to bids and proposals, and Tim, if you will.
Okay, we have one bid, which is for the Public Safety Training Center timber project. We only received one bid, and Mr. Hugus, Director of Building and Engineering, has given council a memo on this, and we are planning to, requesting we're requesting from council to award that bid. Now, this is not a bid for work, this is a bid for, usually you're looking for the lowest responsible bidder. Here, we're looking for the highest, because this is the amount of money that the municipality will be receiving from, the loan bid was Gerald King Lumber Company from Ruffsdale, Pennsylvania. And there's no bid sheet, it's just a memo from Mr. Hugus, because we only received one bid. Paul, do you want to add anything to that?
No, this is probably going to, and when you get later in your packet, there's a conditional use application for the training center, and these go hand in hand with each other, because this is a timbering, a timbering operation that's affected with the land development application that you're going to see. They go together.
Questions, council, for either Mr. Hugus or Mr. Little? Thank you, sir. We're going to go over to old business, but Mr. Dice, if you would.
Yes, the 1 through 5 are the matters involving the temple. Again, as I've indicated, I don't believe that public comment by this board is at this point. There were no citizens that wanted to speak other than Ralph on this agenda, but you decided to wait till Tuesday. My suggestion is that if you choose to, and you don't have to, you would talk about this in executive session, and I'm going to say it again, there's no requirement to do that, but hold your comments until Tuesday.
Okay, we'll move over to new business. And Mr. Little, if you would.
Okay, under the first item, 14-6C, this is the applicant, which is the municipality, is requesting a conditional use approval for a cut and fill operation totaling approximately 473,814 cubic yards of earth. The property is located at 2465 Johnson Road in the R2 Single Family Residential and S Conservancy zoning district. And this is what Mr. Hugus just alluded to before. This is the fill that is coming in from the landfill from Waste Management, which had been initially discussed with council, and council was made aware of this, I believe it was in May, I think, when we first brought this to council's attention. And this is the first part of the grading exercise, which is going to take, I think, what, 3 years, Paul?
Well, the first phase will take place at the tail end of this year into next year. Then the second phase will be about 2 to 3 years
2 to
on.
3 years, okay. So I'll leave it to Paul to go through the
Manager
plat
Little,
that he has.
Manager Little, can I interrupt you for 1 second? Tim,
Oh, yes. go
this
ahead.
is a conditional use application, requires a public hearing. It's been
Right.
advertised for this. I don't know if Mr. Dice wants to
It's the same thing.
set the,
Yeah,
The same rules apply. That council shouldn't speak to this at this point.
Well, this is the public hearing is set for
This
tonight.
is your
This
public
is-
hearing.
this is our hearing.
Now is the date and time set for the public hearing under the municipalities planning code. To hear 14-6C.
yes.
Okay, does the administration have a statement to make?
Paul Hugus, representing the municipality of Monroeville.
Start
Doug
talking.
Cole, representing the municipality of Monroeville as the public.
As Mr. Little had alluded to, in conjunction with Waste Management, who is expanding their operation, they are looking to place some earth and have looked at the training center to do so. What I have in front of you is a drawing. I'll just get you oriented real quick here. This is Johnson's Road. This is Rosecrest Drive. Those are the two predominant areas. This is the gate where you would come into the training center. This is the existing upper building here. Down below, the newer building for the police and FBI, and the the pistol range. The first phase of this will be what's outlined in yellow here, which is about 475,000 cubic yards of earth that we brought in. It's an engineered fill. What I have highlighted in purple is what is going to be considered the limits of disturbance, which we have to get the NPDES permit from the Allegheny County Conservation District for. The earth will be brought in from the landfill, crossing over Johnson's Road into this segment, brought over to fill in this area first. It's pretty cut and dry.
Would anybody in the public like have any comment on this item before council? Seeing none?
I would like
May-
to ask one thing. Part of the resolution, as you'll see in front of you, and Mark, do you want to read it into the record? So we
Yeah,
have
part
it.
of the resolution under ordinance 2188 is our noise ordinance. For heavy equipment, the hours of operation are 7 a.m. till 7 p.m. in the evening. Due to contractual constraints with the landfill, they have asked their contractor to move the earth within the landfill over to the training center from 6 a.m. in the morning till 6 p.m. at night. So council would have to
Waive that.
waive the time restriction, and we've included it in as part of the condition of the resolution.
How many homes would be affected by this?
There's just one home at the end of Johnson's Road, in which he works for the landfill, so.
Okay, so we are the applicant. Is there anybody from the public that wants to speak to this application on a conditional use, at this conditional use hearing? Seeing none. Let's note that the chief was here also to support the project.
Yes,
Okay, that's
certainly,
all.
this-
That's all we need.
okay.
Okay. Is there any other,
Keep quiet.
being no other comments from council, this hearing's closed.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Can I expand on one item as it results to the bid for the timbering? The limits of the timbering are just where this activity is taking place. It does not expand outside into the other 115 acres that the municipality
It's not a
owns.
landslide-prone area.
No, sir.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Tim, if you would.
Okay, item number 2 for council's consideration Tuesday night is applicant is requesting to revise the conditions of approval to eliminate the requirement to provide a recreational area for the previously approved 35 single-family lot subdivision plan. The proposed recreational area was located at the intersection of Arden Drive and Tall Trees Court. There is a little bit of a caveat to this approval because the applicant was requested to submit under our ordinance a certain amount of money, which I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, was approximately $39,000. But it's going to be lessened, but it's, for his development, there were supposed to be recreational facilities implemented. Am I correct on that, Paul?
It is actually a system of walking trails and a recreational area.
Okay, so in lieu of that, the applicant has agreed, and the planning commission has approved, that money, which will be, as stated in the resolution, $36,320 in lieu of installing a recreational area and system of walking trails as per the attached cost, estimated dated September 11th, 2014, prepared by Farringer, McCarty, and Gray, and the planning commission recommends approval with conditions. Now, my understanding is what Heritage Park should have been included with that, Dr. Griesbach?
Yes, and this whole situation is really a win-win for everyone. The residents of the Glen Arden Plan Number 2 did not want this project going through. They didn't want a playground down there. The contractor was obligated to build it there, and thanks to the Planning Commission and whoever else is involved, I'm sure, Mark, you're involved, Mr. Shufo, Paul, to get this all worked out. Just so happens that the rec department actually has some things they need to fix currently. So the $36,000 is already earmarked, so to speak, for Maple Vista Park, Hawkeye Park, and Heritage Park. So the one addition to this to the agenda would be to put Heritage Park in the mix there. Now, certainly, Maple Vista Park, there's a playground or two that actually are out of commission currently. Some of it actually is under warranty, but some of it actually, we have to bear some of the cost. Hawkeye Park, there is an issue with the timbers, the wooden railroad-tied timbers around the playground, and they have some retaining wall systems there that need some help. And then Heritage Park as well has a timber issue around their playground, which the timbers rot, and then the metal rebar sticks up, and it's a hazard for the kids that are playing there. So this is a win-win to help fund those projects. I spoke to Mr. Estock earlier today. The money that Mr. Starr will be paying over pretty much covers those 3 different parks and the projects at those parks. However, him and Mr. Adams in Public Works, they're looking at some other options that they have and get some other quotes. But so hopefully council supports this on Tuesday.
Nick.
But if we can make the addition to having Heritage Park in there, that'd be great.
Would they supply the manpower, or would that be done through Public Works, the parks?
The items that they're talking about, I believe the vast majority of it is contract.
Oh, okay.
Putting the railroad ties in, I think it's a specialty contractor that comes in and does it. There may be some things, and I don't know if Paul, you know this, is there some things that Public Works will be doing at Maple Vista, or is that an outside contractor doing that as well?
I cannot answer that, Doc.
Okay.
I was just curious if that was included in their price.
From what I understand, the price kind of pretty much will cover everything, whether we're doing some of it or if we're doing outside contractors. And once again, it's a win-win for everybody involved.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, item number 3 is the applicant is requesting site plan approval to construct a 1,250 square foot addition to an existing 14,605 square feet building, additional parking area, and associated site amenities. Amenities, I have trouble with that word. The property is located at 4845 William Penn Highway in the C2 Business Commercial Zoning District. Paul, is this the enterprise up by McClure and, or Mark?
Just go ahead.
I'm sorry, yes, it's the former Cochran Infinity Building in the top 22 at Cabot Road, McClure Road. Actually, if you want to put the eye in the sky, it's actually on board. So what they're going to be doing is increasing the the amount of parking they're required.
It's actually here. It's actually up, Joe. This is highlighted in the orange here, I don't know if you can pick that up or not, it's the existing Cochran Infinity building, proposing building a car wash. And the reason they're coming through site plan approval is between the car wash and the additional impervious surface, over 750, they require site plan approval. This gray shaded area here is currently a gravel lot used for excess storage of the old Cochran site for car stock. They're going to go ahead and pave that, enhance the stormwater control systems, and operate a rental, sales, enterprise rental system.
Sounds good. Questions, council?
Are they moving from the Johnette Plaza?
Yes, I imagine this will be their main headquarters
Okay.
now, Hannah's.
Look how small that is.
They
Oh,
going
yeah.
to consolidate the Murraysville office too.
I didn't ask them that, but I'm assuming that the kind of money they're putting in here, they're probably going to consolidate.
Thank you, that's great.
Yeah, I think that's going to be, I think that's a good addition.
Any
Questions or comments for either Mark or Tim or Paul or anybody, folks? Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
All righty. Let's go to resolutions, and Tim, if you would.
Yeah, we have one resolution for Tuesday evening, a resolution adopting the Udipi in sewage planning module. This was not back from the DEP at the time we approved that.
Well, actually, they had some more work to be done with their submission that wasn't prepared at the time the site plan was approved. So this is just a follow-up with that, with that site plan.
Questions or comments, council? All right, you know what, I'm going to do a little bit, a change again. I'll go to our reports of our municipal staff at the end of our meeting. I'm going to now go over to our department heads, and we'll start off with that in regards to their questions and answer any council member may have. And Tara, we'll call you up first for the senior center. And that's on page 52A for our members of council.
5-2.
52, yes.
We're just going to pass you out a few things that I'll be explaining, so you can see what I'm talking about.
Do you have one for me? Thank you. I appreciate it. Do you want us to just pass it down? Thank you.
Okay, so, basically, the budget on page 52, just so everybody's aware, the senior center operates through the municipality, but there's also a budget that I help administrate through the Monroeville Council of Senior Citizens. So that is not shown, obviously, for the major public to see. To help Mr. Yank, I'm going to answer some of his questions that he presented about the budget. The municipal budget is strictly the operational budget. It involves the employees and the utilities of the building, and that is it. All the programming that is done inside the center is strictly funded by the Monroeville Council of Senior Citizens. That includes the fitness room and all of the activities inside the center. So when we're looking at the municipal budget, it's pretty straightforward. The top part are 4 employees. You have myself, the bus driver custodian, the main custodian, and right now, a program coordinator. Also inside the salary are 4 retired employees, or 3, excuse me. 2 directors and our clerk, Lida Weesmore, that just retired a month ago. So I want to make that perfectly clear that the budget is, a lot of that is retired employees that are uncontrollable. The rest of it is utilities. and the benefits of the employees and the retired employees. I would like to note that if you look under hospitalization and health, it went from 169 to 102, so it went down about $50,000. That was found by Sean Lally. It was a mistake of an over budget through the previous finance director. So I want to, because you're going to see that there's a major decrease in our request, and that is why. So it was just last year when they were trying to show the combining of the rec center and the rec department and the senior center, there was staff of the rec department added into the senior center budget, and that was never taken back out when that was not approved. So I just want to clarify what that is. So basically, I work alongside senior council to work on the growth of the senior center. It is called senior center, but it is for 50 and over, and in my opinion, 50 to, if you ask any senior, 70 is, even 80s, they say they're not a senior. So it is really an adult recreational center more than a senior center. The title is kind of misleading. This year, our goal was to meet the needs of the 50 to the newly retired, because that was a population that we were not reaching as much as was being requested. So a lot of people in that age group were saying they wanted to come use the facility, but it's currently only open from the hours of 8 to 4:30 Monday through Friday. With the addition of the fitness room that was established in 2008, we continuously get an increased request for that room to be open in the evening. Of course, myself, senior council, and past council, municipal council people knew there was an expense attached to that. So my goal for the past couple of years was trying to find funding for that room or the whole center to be open during the evening at no cost to the taxpayer. So I would like to say that we have found that solution with the help through grant money and actually fundraising through senior council. So that's a lot of the forms that I presented to you today, because you will see the only major increase in my budget this year is the salary of the temporary part-time employees. And that strictly is the one sheet that I handed to you. It says program fitness, health and fitness program coverage. We do have about 25 part-time employees. A lot of them are contractual, so they teach our programs and our exercise classes mainly. That is worked out through the Monroeville Council of Senior Citizens. They pay a percentage of their profit to senior council. The only other part-time employees that we have are our part-time, currently are our part-time fitness room monitor. He's there Monday through Friday from 7 in the morning till 1 in the afternoon. And our silver sneakers and silver and fit instructors. All of that is covered through revenue. In 2008, we started really working on finding ways to bring revenue into the center to help offset the budget. And the first thing that we did was silver sneakers. We started that in 2008. It continues to grow. This year, we're going to be making close to $15,000 profit from that. A lot of those members are non-residents. So when you have, we have right now close to 5,000 members. When I started in 2006, we had less than 1,200 members. So you'll see that we've increased a lot of programming over the years, and our attendance is continuously increasing to go from, 1,200 members to over 5,000 probably by the end of the year is, in my opinion, astonishing. It shows that there's a need, and it shows that the public wants it. So myself and senior council are just working to keep it growing. So Silver Sneakers has been a benefit, and that is one of the things. Yes, non-residents are allowed to use our facility. They do pay a non-resident fee. Out of the 5,000 members, about 200, less than 200 of them are non-residents, but 90% of those people are Silver Sneakers members. And what that means to you is you make money off of them. They may not pay taxes, but you are making, every time they come into the building, $3.50. Okay, so every time they swipe their membership card, you get reimbursed through Healthways, which is a Highmark sponsored facility, our program. This September, we added Silver and Fit, which is another health program, very similar to Silver Sneakers. Right now, it is funded through Health America, Aetna, a couple of the smaller insurance companies. But as of January of 2015, UPMC will be a part of that program. So we see a tremendous increase in our revenue when that is put into place. A lot of our current members and a lot of people that have heard we have started Silver and Fit are starting to come in because a lot of people do have UPMC insurance. So I'm expecting a tremendous increase in membership come January with the fitness room, which also we get $3.25 every time one of those members come in and scan their card. So you'll see that I projected that our revenue sources for Silver and Sneakers, I'm projecting about $13,000 for next year. Now, that's just a cushion. Like I said, this year we're making about $15,000. Last year we made a little over $14,000, so it's continuing to increase. But I'm expecting with the changes between Highmark and UPMC a little bit of fluctuation with that, so that's why I stayed with $13,000 instead of kind of increasing it a little bit. Silver and Fit, I'm projecting $6,000. I'm projecting that we'll make half of what we make with Silver and Sneakers, because it does take a while to establish and grow a little bit. I'm hoping that we get to the point where we're making $15,000 like we are with Silver Sneakers. We may make that next year. I'm hoping that we do, but I didn't want to overstep it. The other thing you will see this year, the Monroeville Council of Senior Citizens decided to contribute to the municipal budget this year. They are contributing $8,000 to your budget. The reason for this is they really do see the need of opening the facility in the evening, and they understand that there needs to be a supervisor, an employee in there, and they did not want to have to come ask you, council, municipal council, for that money. So they are paying for it completely. So you'll see that I broke down the hours, the amount the employee will be paid. It'll come out to a little less than $8,000, but they're going to give you $8,000. So they are going to continue to fund that room. Our hopes are that through Silver Sneakers, through Silver and Fit, and through membership to the fitness room, that come next year, it'll be self-sustaining on its own. But right now, Senior Council is going to front it for the first year. You'll see in the other page that I gave you, it does give you a breakdown of the membership fees for the fitness room. There are costs for that. We do have non-resident and resident rates. Obviously, the resident rates are substantially cheaper than the non-resident rates. We do have 65 and over members that are residents of Monroeville are able to use that room for free. Anyone under the age of 65, there are 3-month, 6-month, 12-month plans. We also do plan on doing an municipal employee discount. That was one thing that We have a lot of municipal employees that want to use the room, and we always want to be health conscious, so we are going to open that up to the municipal employees with a discount as well. So, like I said, the Monroeville Council of Senior Citizens does all the programming. So all the revenue that comes from that programming goes to Senior Council. So that was one of the other reasons that they gave you the $8,000, is because they do take the profit from the fitness room memberships. That in turn will pay for that monitor. It also pays for all the maintenance to the equipment. You do not pay for that, they pay for that. So if the treadmill breaks, the bikes break, they're getting old and we need to swap them out, they have always paid for that, whether it's through grant or through their own money. So the other thing with the expansion of the hours, we plan on being open Monday through Friday until 8 p.m. With the expectation of a lot of people coming in there, because through the people that have come to me and come to you guys and come to Senior Council, we are expecting a number of people to come in that room and use it. And the current size of it right now will not meet the demands of what we expect to get. So that was another problem that we had. We had to expand the room, increase the amount of cardio equipment, and you need money for that. So that was another mission of myself and Senior Council, was to find funding so that would not cost the municipality any money. So we are receiving $25,000 donation from UPMC East, and the rest of the money will be fronted by Monroeville Council of Senior Citizens. So you'll see on the back page, it breaks down the cost of the expansion of the fitness room, the construction, which will come out to approximately about $3,000, is going to be paid for by Monroeville Council of Senior Citizens. All the fitness equipment will mostly be covered by the grant or the donation of UPMC East. There'll be about $5,000 to $6,000 above that $25,000 donation that will be funded by Monroeville Council of Senior Citizens. So, again, all of this is being funded without having to increase my budget, or our budget, municipal budget. So, I think I said everything. Is there any questions?
Yeah, council, any questions for Tara? I can just tell you, Tara, I've been at your
Sarah, I
seniors.
didn't hear you. Do you get any state or federal money?
We have gotten grants. There have been 5 additions to the senior center that were all funded by state, county grant, or Senior Council. So that building, really, when you walk in there, originally was just the front foyer and the big room. That was what started in 1969. All the rest that you see was all funded by Monroeville Senior Council and grant. It was never paid for by the municipality of Monroeville. So whenever there was a need for more space for programming, obviously it fell under Monroeville Council of Senior Citizens because that's their responsibility. They always went out and sought the money so that it would never have to be paid for out of the municipal budget. Same with, like, all the programming is done through them. It has in the past been the responsibility of Monroeville Council to do the programming, but when I came in 2006, myself and my staff has taken over that. So I was up until a month ago doing all of the programming for the center, all the special events, the fitness, programming, everything. So that is why when the clerical worker retired, I requested a program coordinator to help me with that, because we have expanded our programming so much that it takes more than just one person to do that. For example, all of our special events this year have been selling out. We had a Halloween Monster Bash last Wednesday. There are 240 seats in the room. There was not a seat left. We sold every ticket. We have a soup day coming on Tuesday. All the seats are sold out. So there is a demand. People like it. You know, the word's getting out that we're doing a lot of great things. You'll see, you know, I believe that it's in the budget too. It shows like our accomplishments, and it shows over the years the programming and the attendance is continuously inclining. It's not decreasing, it's going up. So, and the age is going down. So, I mean, we have a lot of people in their 50s and 60s coming into the center. Now that we've opened the fitness room, that has changed the whole aspect of what the center is all about. It's not about playing bingo anymore and talking about getting old. It's about wanting to stay healthy and active from 50 all the way up. I mean, you'll be astonished at the majority of the volunteers. We have over 75 volunteers that help me with the programming. I obviously can't do it with 4 employees. Out of the 75 of them, a lot of them are in their 80s. Jimmy Macaluso and is a president of senior council. Will be 90 next year, and he'll tell you that. And Marilyn Cohen, all of senior council, they're all very helpful to me. They're all in their 80s, 90s, and you would not know. And that's because they're active. Everybody knows if you stay active, you live longer. So they do not look their age, and that's because of that center, because it's kept their livelihood. And we're hoping that the 50-year-olds coming in, that they'll live just as long, if not longer, than the people that are in their 90s now. So it is important.
Once again, council, any questions? Go ahead, Tom.
I have a comment. First of all, I can't wait till I'm old enough so I can participate.
Sorry, Tom, you're already
Got an
there.
awful lot of
That
gray
ship
hair for a
sailed,
30-year-old.
Yeah, a long time ago.
Did I say it was 50 and older?
Yeah, I'm close. I'm very close. But I'd also like to say thank you. You've done a terrific job.
Thank you.
Just growing those numbers. It's so important to the community. And I see the smiles on the folks that are there. And I'm going to be one of those soon.
You're more than welcome to come anytime you want.
But
It's
thank
only
you
because I
again.
love my job, and it's only because I have a great group of people that I work with, not only my staff, but all the people that come to the center. And that's why it's growing, because we're a family. And anybody that goes there knows that. We're all family, so.
Thank you, Tara.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tara.
Cable TV 15, I'm not sure where they all went off to, but
Is he coming up? Okay, yeah, he's coming up.
you know I got to harass Joe. That's okay.
That's the elevator. Slowest elevator.
That's what I just said.
We'll fix it.
Slowest elevator in the world. Computer, I'll wait.
You want to announce light up night while we're waiting?
Oh, yeah. You know what, folks? While we're waiting, November 25th, which is Tuesday, 7 p.m. at the Old Stone Church, is Light Up Night. So please come on down. It's a fun event. So we'll make those announcements a couple of times. No excuses, Joe. No excuses.
Always yell at everybody
It
else.
is.
It is.
Now
wanna
you're going
hear
to put in
that.
the budget a faster elevator, Joe.
You can have lunch in that elevator.
I don't know, I
not
should have
the
walked the
next
steps,
floor.
I guess. My expenditures are on page 58A. The one thing I want to say about the 2015 budget, we will be about $10,000 less than we were in 14. One of my big expenditures will come out of 2910 operating services, and that's to replace the 4 cameras, the still cameras here, the eye in the sky, the one above the mayor, and the 2 in the back. The 3 of them are analog, yet from the old building that we brought over here and installed here. The eye in the sky has been replaced, but it's kind of, over the years, went bad. The other expenditure that I have, it's kind of, is for outside personnel. outside operating services, which I have to have a broadcast engineer come in for our equipment since it's so specialized. And other than that, it's,
Joe, what line item is that?
that would be the 2110, which would be for the
Oh, okay,
outside
82.
broadcast.
Well, that's the same as last year.
Yeah, it's the same as
Okay.
last year. Like I said, I'm about $10,000. I was talking to Sean today. I'm about $10,000 less coming on 15 than I was in 14. So I guess less is better.
Council, it's pretty self-explanatory on our cable TV. I mean, any questions for Joe? I know, Joe, you guys and your staff do a great job, so I'm
I
quite happy, and I
thank you for
get a
that.
lot of nice compliments from the residents on
Well, thank you. I appreciate
on your
that.
programming as well.
I do have a question.
Sure.
Joe, if you could speak to franchise fees.
Yes.
Well, we get money.
Right. The way we're funded, we're not actually out of taxpayers' money. We're out of franchise fees, which inadvertently is taxpayers. You got to live here. But we receive 5% from Verizon, and we receive 5% from Comcast. Out of that, the municipality provides me with 2.5 to operate my budget. So that's where we're at. And,
So you get 2.5 of
out of that, out of like
Okay.
10, yeah.
And the rest is just shown as revenue?
Yes.
Mr. Little?
Correct, yes. Yeah, 5% is the state max. Most municipalities, do charge. And the Verizon and Comcast, if everybody always has questions about their bill that they get, they see this little 5% surcharge. I don't know if it's called surcharge, but that's what that
It's
is on your
actually
bill.
marked franchise fees.
Is it called franchise?
Yes.
Okay, it's called
Yes, it
franchise.
actually is
fee.
franchise fee. And
Yeah.
it's also comes out of Verizon bill, too. So, and
And
that's...
that'd be no matter where you lived. You
Yes,
get a
other
franchise fee
people
on your-
use it for roads or something else. We're very fortunate to have the cable TV department that we do.
Mayor, I have a question. Joe, I see here where, let's see, you're budgeting gasoline, oil, lubrication.
Yes.
Looks like
The gasoline,
$5,700. And motor vehicle parts at $1,200. Now, does the Public Works garage maintain your vehicle?
yes.
But
They-
do we have to pay them?
No, this is
maintain your
mostly
vehicle?
for parts, Tom. If they do some work, we don't get charged anything for it,
Okay.
other than the inspections would it cost, things like that. If it breaks, we get charged for that. And as far as the gas goes, every department pays a certain amount. We're not using that much gas, but it's that,
You never know what the price is.
there's, well, yeah, and gas the way it is, it's down right now, and then,
Yeah.
next
Okay.
week it could go back up over $3,
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions for Joe?
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Council.
Thanks, Joe.
Thank you.
Hurry up.
Take the
Take the
stairs.
steps.
Take the steps, yeah.
Could we get him a fireman's pole, perhaps? Is there an extra one, Mr. Rowe?
Fireman's
I'd pay
pole.
10
Oh, I'd
bucks
like
to see that.
How can we speed up that?
That's scary.
We don't need them back.
And we'll get our library folks come on up, and we'll
Yeah.
talk about our library.
Go back a couple pages.
Okay, hi.
I got it, yeah.
We're both new at this, so you'll just have to bear with us.
That'd be nice.
Yeah.
I'm Johanna Cornelius, and this is Sally Michalski.
And we are acting co-directors of the library until the new director is hired. We have approximately 13,000 people a month come through our building. We circulate 25,000 items a month. We're new at this.
Just ask us your question.
Yeah, what do you need to know?
That might be the way to go, folks. And
What page are we on?
53A.
53A. And yes, we will be very kind. I know that this is new for you guys, and you look a little nervous.
Which one's the straight man, a straight person?
I'm a straight man. She's
Okay, all right, I just wanted to make sure.
Because we're part of a county system, we have three sources of funding. We have the municipal funding, we have state funding, and we have county funding, which is the RAD money, which comes from the
Right.
1 cent sales tax.
If you remember, Council, when a lot of this stuff was talked during the last year, on that referendum, so you do have a lot of this information. As you see, most of the budget, as you see, is the salaries of the regular employees. How many employees do you have full-time? I guess let me go from there.
Full-time, we have about 6 full-time.
Okay, and then how many part-time?
Well, we have a total of 24, 25 part-time.
Okay,
Well, I mean, with the full-time, no,
Right.
that's total.
About 18.
Yeah.
What's,
maybe you might want to explain the miscellaneous outside personnel.
yeah, what's that increase cost?
And I see for 2015, it's budgeted 47,500. And what would that be?
Well, when we did the budget this year, because last year's budget was kind of odd compared to all the other years, we went back 3 years, we averaged it out, and then we looked through our bills to make sure that we were going to put in the correct amounts, so that way we're asking for, we're short at the end of the year. The outside personnel in the municipal one was for like contractors, like we need to get our lobby done because it's sinking, and like we need new lights, and so we have to get engineers and contractors and get bids and everything, so that's what that money's for.
So it's pretty much maintenance for the building.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe one other question is, and it looks like things are pretty well general, on the hospitalization costs, security, all that stuff, your telephone. But the general, the cleaning and sanitation, you went from 2,100 to 4,000 into the budget. Now, that's quite a jump, and that would be why?
We have Service Master cleaning our building.
Oh, okay. Okay, that explains it. Council, that's pretty much all I would have. I don't know if you have any others. The rest is pretty
So
standard.
far in 2014, it's showing zero cost though for the cleaning. Have you not, do you pay them yearly or?
No, actually, if you look on page 54A and 55A, you will see that it's involved in those ones because for some reason it was put in the county and state to pay for our cleaning. Instead of it coming out of the municipal budget, it was being paid out of the county and state budgets.
So that's straightened out now?
Yes, it's straightened
Okay.
out now.
There's 8,000 in cleaning for the year, if I add all these up.
Yeah, well, we moved it. And the one that's on page 54A, that cleaning was moved over to the municipal budget, and we only needed the 4,000. We've already talked to Sean about that.
Council John also came to me and mentioned the fact of the water cost that is being incurred in line item 8,200, and it should be in 8,100. So we're going to move those
You'll correct
costs
all that.
into where it belongs, yes. I mean, but we've had a lot of discussions about the library and their cost structure, and I think we're working pretty well together.
The only other thing you might want to know is we're required by state to spend 12% of our total income on materials, books, DVDs, CDs, that, so forth. And that this year will come to $179,457.
And that's just our collection, no
Yeah.
furniture or anything else.
Now, I see your contract service fees went down. Is that just, that's on 56, or 55A? Is that like your equipment? Is that what that is?
The contract service fees is like the Ehrlich that comes, our mat company that comes, because we're all on contracts with those.
Okay,
And some of their fees have dropped.
that's
so-
good. That's good.
There's a new cost line item of bookbinding. Can you explain what that is?
Yes, that's something that we don't use often, but every so often we do have to send a number of volumes to get redone.
Okay.
And it's not used every year. I do have a pile in the cellar that I want to send.
I see you haven't used it in a while, so,
Right.
okay.
Last year I just didn't
clarify.
have time to use it, so
Okay.
I probably will this year.
Any other questions or comments from the library?
Yeah, I have a, on,
Find out what your printing expenses are.
That's what I was gonna
It looks like under the 2014 budget was 5,100, and, no, I'm sorry, that's not incorrect. You didn't have anything for printing in 2014, actually from 11 through 14, and for the
That was
15 budget, you have $7,800. What does that printing represent?
He's on 54A.
It's on 54.
54A.
54A, that's under the
54A.
Allegheny County
Yeah.
Library.
Right. That printing would be for printing of any materials, like if we're making packets up, it's what we pay our copiers and the maintenance on our printers in the building.
Oh, okay, it's your own print, you do your own printing,
Right.
basically. Okay, terrific, thank you.
Any other questions or comments for our library folks? Seeing none, thank you.
Okay,
Mayor, I'd
thank
just
you.
like to point out, Mayor, just like to point out, on 54A, I see that they have printing and printing supplies, and, yeah, they have budgeted money all through, and they took it out of that category, moved it up to just printing. So, yeah, there was funds used in the past, so it wasn't just a surprise.
Thank you, ladies.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
IT, you're up next. Tina, how are you?
Fine, how are you?
Good.
I have a handout as well.
Thank you.
What page, Tina?
15.
15 and 15A.
Page, Tina.
15A.
Oh, thank you.
15A.
Sharon, are you still good?
So I guess as far as the major budget changes between last year and this year, we had a position in the IT budget. The department used to be called data processing. So there was a person on our budget that was not IT, but was considered an operator because of the old kind of computer systems that we had. So this person actually does purchasing work. So this year, we're trying to get everything where it should be, and it is now going, that position is going onto the finance budget because that's a little clearer representation of where it should have been. So you might notice a big difference between our budget between last year and this year because there's a whole person getting moved. So on that handout, I listed for you the line items that have to do with that. Then the second major budget change is that, along the same lines, some of the contract service fees, which are like support contracts that we have for software, there's a number of items that had to do with our financial software, and because it was software, it was on the IT budget for a while, but now it's on the finance budget. So try to ease the sting of Sean's budget preparation there. The other contract service fees, because that's kind of a catch-all line item, I listed for you there so you can understand. The budget line item is a little goofy. It says 72,000, but it's wrong. That was the number that, having included the finance figure, so we have to fix that number. But it should be like about 60,000 in the finance budget, and it's only about 21,000 in the IT budget. So it's a little less than everything that's in there now. The only real increase that I've asked for is under the general office supplies. I know some of the other departments have line items that are specific to theirs, like TV15 has photographic supplies. Well, the computer, we need computer and network supplies, like keyboards and mice and things that are very specific to our department, but there isn't a line item for that. So we've always just bought it out under general office supplies. Now, the past couple years, they had a lot of capital budget money. They were taking those things out of capital budget money. That's why it seems less for previous years. So now, especially with us not really having a capital budget we're not sure about, that money will have to come out of this budget.
Out of your general operating.
It's under the general office supplies, but it's IT supplies, and then also office supplies like paper and such. There's also under data processing consultants, we'd asked for that to go up to 66,000, but we did what we were trying to do another way, so that should be 63,000, just like it was last year. So that's operating budget, and I guess we weren't really talking. I attached to this list items, I know we're not doing a capital budget, but I'm putting this list in so you know these are still needs that I feel like we have. I've spread them out over 3 years like we normally did for a capital budget. So if you're going to in all consider capital budget type items, even though we're not doing it the same way this year, those are my requests.
Well, I guess my question to you is, maybe this will help you out, is that we do have a outside consultant that comes in that we pay, I guess.
That's the 63,000
Yeah,
on the
right,
data
right.
processing.
My question to you is that still needed? My understanding that this person's not on duty as much as they should be?
Yeah, you can completely, as far as I'm concerned, you could remove that. Unfortunately, I believe that there was a 3-year
Well,
contract
if-
signed with them, so.
I'll address that. We have a contract with Christen, okay, Christen Technologies, which runs through to June of 2016. And I've discussed this with Bruce Dice about 2 months ago. And I have been in conversation with Kristen Funari, who is their, for the lack of a better term, business manager, and we're in the initial stages of working out what their duties are going to be.
Good.
Okay, under their contract. So, I can't say what's going to happen at this point. However, the $63,000 figure may go down. Okay, and because they've asked us for a revised proposal, and I have Tina putting that together on what they would like to see, and if it's palatable to them, and we'll be in discussion on that as far as what their duties will be and how much they get paid.
And that firm, they're not physically here, but they log in remotely.
Yeah,
Is
but
that
we
right?
don't really, we have no way of tracking when they have.
That was my next question. Is there a way to?
I thought they were.
There is a software that they log in, but we're not administrators in it because it's their software. So
But they could provide those numbers,
they probably could provide those numbers, yes.
That way we'd have a feel for how much.
Well, I would like to see that, to be very
I do have the
honest,
fob
Tim, if
reports.
you
I
can
know when
get
they were
that from
physically
them.
here, but I don't have them when they log in virtually.
Right, but in IT, remotely is definitely,
Yeah, there's a lot that can be done
a lot
remotely.
can be done versus physically being here.
Right.
No, that's a given,
So,
Nick. No, I'm well aware of that. I'm sure everybody here is as well, but I would like to see some of that time that's supposedly locked in. I'm in agreement if we can get rid of that line item completely whenever the contract's finished. I would recommend that highly to council.
So did
Any
you,
other questions or comments, please?
Comment? You know, it looks like 49% of your budget is your employee salaries, your health care, your pension, and your social security, and your life insurance. And the other 51% is the rest of your budget. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, the only one that we really have a whole lot of control over is those office supplies. We're lean and mean.
But you do need some new supplies, though, new computers, et cetera.
Well, yeah, and that's part of it. When you have a little bit newer equipment, at least like 3 to 5 years old, you don't have as many problems. So when things happen, when you start getting older computers, you start having more problems. So we try to leverage it as much as possible. We have a lot of machines that are 7 and 8 years old, but then you start having more problems with them. So we try to balance it as much as we can. We try not to ask for too much. You'll see when we ask for in the capital budget money, we ask for 1/5 of all of our computers to be replaced every year, so that ideally you would have computers that were 5 years old and they would go.
Can you tell me approximately how many computers we have within the municipality?
If you're counting some of the police laptops, I would say about 200.
Okay. So you try to replace those, how many?
Servers too, there's probably
Yeah,
about
but how many do you try to replace annually? You have a program for that?
We do. It's been a little difficult over the years because, we'll ask for a certain amount of money and then we don't quite get that amount of money. So we replace what we can.
Okay, but do you agree that a good computer service is beneficial to the municipality?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, every single
Yeah.
department.
So we should be aware that, at times, we need to replace these computers so that we can operate very good. They're
Yes,
very
and
well.
thank you for pointing that out. Absolutely.
Okay, now, one more question. The software that Chief Cole and the fire departments are having installed, I can't remember the name of it.
Alert TS.
Okay. How's that coming along?
Well, we've actually, it was sort of at a stalemate there for a while because of all the things that were going on, but we have done the upgrade now for the product suite for all the police. Right now, we're in the process of getting things set up for the fire departments, but it's a lot of creating accounts and that sort of
Right,
thing. We
right,
have
right,
Jason Sonnefeld working on that.
So it's pretty manual, a lot of manual work.
A lot of work to be added, but we've accomplished a lot of it. There was several versions we were behind, and we've gotten up to speed at this point now. And we've resolved a lot of the issues. A lot of the issues had to do with the older version of the software having network issues. So they've resolved that, and now it's all working much better, much better. There's a few outstanding issues, but not major ones.
That's correct. We have all the software loaded up in the police cars, so they're seeing a different mobile product, as we call it.
And now, how will the municipality benefit from this software? And the fire departments benefit from this software?
Well, our program here for the next step is going to be getting the screens, the active screens to the fire stations. We hope to do that by next week. Once we do that, the next process is to get the fire individual usernames, passwords, so that they can start doing reporting as of January 1. So we will finally get the fire department switched over to a record management system that'll be a borough, held here at the municipality. All 5 stations will be involved in that. So we'll be able to access records as a municipality instead of individual stations. And then the next step to that after that is the run cards and having the actual GPS, the tracking, and that turn on. That's hopefully first quarter of 2015.
Terrific. Congratulations.
So it has done it's working better. We're seeing more usage of it and more use of the
It takes a
items
lot to
that we
get
have.
familiar with it, I'm sure.
Yep, absolutely.
Thank you both.
Thank you, Tina.
Thank you, Tina.
Thank you.
Joseph, you're on the hot seat.
Go, Joe.
Oh.
Okay. I'm here to talk about the insurance, which is 16A. So, real simple, there's only 5 line items. The first one's liability and property. That's the property, the general liability, the law enforcement, public officials, crime, the umbrella, and the auto policies. Okay, and why that's up a little bit this year is because of the lawsuits that we've received over the last couple of years. We have a deductible. For the liability, there's a $25,000 deductible. So when the bills come in, we have to pay until we hit that $25,000 number. So you never know from year to year when you get a lawsuit, and when they come in, you have to pay until you get to that point.
That's per lawsuit, correct?
Yes. Yeah, $25,000 per occurrence is what it is. Okay, so that's why that's jumped up a little bit. Workers' compensation. We actually have 3 different workers' compensation carriers. We have Harry, which is the Housing and Redevelopment Insurance Exchange, and that's for the municipal employees. We have the State Workers Insurance Fund, which is for the volunteer firefighters, which we pay for as well. And we also have UPMC Work Partners, which is for the EMS employees. So each one of those separate, depending on the claim that I receive, I have to figure out what it's for and then send it to that specific insurance carrier.
How come we can't have one, Joe? I mean, is that just the way the law's set
There's
up?
very few carriers out there, period. And one will do one, like UPMC Work Partners for EMS. They don't do anything else. That's all they do. But they were the lowest last year and this year, so that's why we went with them. For the volunteer firefighters, there's 2, I believe. and Swift is the lowest. It's also it's not consumer friendly to say the least. We have a lot of issues with them. Closing claims, it takes sometimes a year.
I'm just surprised that the state doesn't have anything for like municipal government on.
That's what the Swift is. Swift is actually for it, yeah.
What's the difference in price between Swift and the other carrier?
It's probably like $6,000 or $7,000, but when we marketed it out last year, it was AmeriHealth, and they would not split it up. They wanted everything, the municipal employees and the firefighters, or they didn't want anything at all.
Well, wouldn't it make sense to try to switch to the other carrier? Because just with the aggravation and the time involved in trying to have claims settled,
Sure.
That's going to cost you $6,000 with your time. Your time is more valuable
Yeah.
to us.
I mean, I'm all for it, believe me. I mean, that's,
Can we do
as
that?
we market it out there, we market it as we'd like to have it all in one if we can. I mean, and just some of them won't do it, though. That's just the way it is.
Well, how about our broker of record? Can he do something like that?
That's what they do. They go out there and talk to all the carriers. That's what they're doing right now, in fact. Okay.
Okay.
While we're on the insurance, I would like to recommend that we look at insurance for volunteers who volunteer within the municipality. I understand it's a relatively inexpensive insurance, but that will certainly help defray some of the costs with some of our volunteers. I know at the shelter, one volunteer was injured, and they had to incur through their own health care multiple bills
Yeah.
for that. So I think we need to direct our broker of record to look into that.
Okay. Yeah, we looked into it before. There's a few carriers for that, too. That's a
Right,
very specific
right.
kind of carrier, but I'll have them look into that as well.
Okay, great, thank you.
Okay.
Can
Unemployment
we stay on-
insurance,
can we stay on that?
I
Wait,
think,
Can we stay on workers' comp insurance for 1 second?
Sure.
We had gotten a, in our packets last week, from the Safety Task Force,
Mhm.
that they had received their state certification, and we're gonna be able to get 5%.
yeah, we get that every year. I do that, in fact. I'm the chairman of the committee forever.
Good job.
And we've gotten that 5% discount every year for the last 15 years.
I just wanted to make sure that everybody was aware that that has happened and that we're
Yeah,
getting that.
I mean, that's so if our workers' comp premium for here is $330,000, so that's $16,000,
to a lot of money.
$17,000 that
Yes,
we
it
get off
does.
because of that, because we have the safety committee.
Right.
We do a lot of things with that safety committee. We're really out there looking to try to keep everybody safe, and we've done a good job of it, too.
Well,
Yeah.
I would say so. and
Yeah, our mod number is very low. Anything below 1 is good.
Yeah,
For the municipality, we have like a .88,
wonderful.
so we're doing really well with that.
Well, thank you for this, and
Okay, no problem. Unemployment, I think we put it at 40,000, Sean, because just the last couple of years, it was a little low, and we're just playing it safe, I think is what we're doing. These numbers can be adjusted. And the last one, deductibles, Highmark reimbursement, that's actually for the health insurance. We pay a deductible. It's part of the premium. It's part of the policy. It helps keep our premiums down a little bit for us to do it that way. So that number went up a little bit because our prices have gone up a little bit. So that's why that's gone up as well.
And we've probably maxed that out as far as the benefit. Is the individual deductible, is it 2,500 or 2,000?
I think it's 3 and 6 now. I think we went up to, I believe.
And that's about probably the max where
Yeah.
Gallagher said that's about.
Right. And they recommended that we do that. I mean, that's the smart thing to do.
Yeah, it keeps our premiums down.
Right.
Well,
As much as possible.
relatively keeps our
Relatively,
premiums
right,
down.
exactly, so.
I was gonna say, okay.
Anybody else?
Any other questions for Joe, folks? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Joe, good job.
Sean, you're on the hot seat.
Is it okay if I speak from?
You can sit right there and do it.
Mayor, Council, I gave you a handout that basically outlines my budget request for this year. Once it all pans out, I'm actually asking for a difference of $1,934 over the fiscal period of 2014 to 2015. My biggest cost increases, if you look at the appendix there, which would be my expenditure section, pages 14 and 14A under expenditures. The largest increases that I incurred were, as Tina had mentioned to you earlier, I brought back an employee into my department, so her cost of labor and wages is approximately $90,000, and I also incurred the IT expenses of our accounting software, which is Munis, which is around $56,000, for a total of $146,000 difference in my operating budget between 2014 and 2015. But when you subtract those items, as I stated in this handout that I gave you, it's actually a $1,934 difference between the two numbers. I think that something that has kind of been overlooked in, the budget process is the accomplishments that my department made on page 11 in the budget message, and as Tim has alluded to in the past, the completion of the CAFR. Waiting to hear the results of that. In December, we should know if they have given their approval for that. For 6 months into my position, or less than 6 months, I think that the finance department has worked very well with other department heads, worked well with my staff, and we've accomplished a lot of things that I do list in this. It's not as many as I would prefer, but in 5 months, I think it's pretty good. Moving forward, we also have an increase in our revenues for the fiscal period. Tax collector Pat Fulkerson and I had a discussion about him wanting to capture what is actually his true revenues out of his department. One of the things that he conceded to, or that he actually recommended, was that the $380,000, and I have to find it here, in host municipality fees would no longer be captured in his revenue line item. It would be moved to the finance department for reasons that he and I had discussed, and with his help, we came up with those numbers. It, one, bumps my revenue, decreases his a little bit, but it's a more accurate capture. Those are fees not related to taxes. They're related to income production of the municipality. Therefore, he felt it would be a better capture, and I agree with Pat Foley on those decisions that he made. My total revenues for next year are estimated at $2,619 million versus $1,513 million, which is a 73% increase. Part of that increase is also stated in the little synopsis that I gave. Our minimum municipal obligation comes with state funding of $728,000 approximately, which is a state reimbursement towards our pension obligations, and we also get a volunteer fire department reimbursement of $199,000, as Ron had mentioned earlier. So those are revenues that we are capturing in my department now. They're going to be clearly delineated. When expenditures are taken against those items, you're going to know exactly where that money went. So those are the only real changes in my budget. There's a cost of doing business that cannot be controlled no matter what department head stands before you and asks for things. Our labor costs have increased. I broke down those numbers to you in the past budget meeting when we were talking about a $30 million budget. 20 million of that is labor cost. That is something that none of us can control. I did try to control the spending as much as I could. If you look through my line items, which I list on page 14 and 14A, like I said, there's only a $1,900 increase when you subtract out the items that I've already listed. So I'm trying to do my due diligence in making the municipality work to the best of its efficiency. And I mean, I can't say that this is an alone process. I appreciate all the department heads' help, and I also appreciate everybody that has contributed to this budget. And that's it. And if there are any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Yeah, questions or anything for Sean? I think you obviously, being a brand newbie, you're doing a great job, and we all appreciate that.
Thank you, Sean, good job.
Thank you.
Seeing no questions, we'll move over to our last item, and that would be you, Tim, with us and your budget.
Okay, I take on talking about the mayor and municipal council part of it. If you could just go to the revenue, page 23, and not just talk about expenses, talk about the revenue. And as everybody knows, we have $10,000 budgeted for revenue, and that's usually for the fireworks that comes from the Visitors Bureau, and that's just one line item there. Under my department, Municipal Manager's Office, under revenue, that's on page 24, revenue. Miscellaneous receipts, if anybody had any questions, the $74,000 that we've taken in this year, right there, that's this year, that comes from the sale of vehicles that Joe has put on for, how many vehicles have we sold this year, Joe? Maybe about 5?
Yeah.
Something like that. So that's where that comes from. We've only budgeted $12,500, taking that in. And obviously, the next line item is the Jack Sedlak Memorial cleanup and the donations for that, and then the Monroeville Finance Authority contributions. Now, that figure that's in there for 15, we just received a check for $140,000 the other day for the floating of bonds for UPMC did about 2 months ago. Now, I'm going to have to check with Sarah Buss, the attorney for UPMC, but I'm pretty sure, Sean, that's going to turn into a goose egg, a bagel, because we're receiving that money now and not in 15. Okay, but let me double check on that.
Yeah,
Okay.
we processed that check about 5 days ago, Tim.
Okay, that's just on the revenue, and obviously on the expense end with the mayor and council on expenditures, page 8A. Really nothing all that significant to discuss. Everything is virtually the same as last year, a minor increase. I increased the seminar expenses up, and also the dues and memberships, because the dues and memberships was not what it should have been, like our dues and memberships of the Pennsylvania Boroughs Association and those kind of affiliations.
Chamber.
That are, the Chamber of Commerce, exactly. And those are obviously, that's money well spent to be part of those. Unless anybody has any questions on that, that's pretty much straightforward.
Questions or comments, council? Seeing none, Tim.
Thank you, Tim.
Okay, and under mine, again, everything is virtually the same. There's going to be one change that council will get before the budget is adopted, and Joe has been under the Finance and Human Resources, and he's going to come under municipal managers, his salary. So that will increase Joe's salary, and we'll put that under here, and then the finance will be just totally separate, because as you well know, we've taken the position of Director of Personnel and Finance, and we've made Director of Human Resource, and also Sean, Chief Financial Officer. So Joe will come under there in the associated expenses with health benefits and things of that nature.
It's no real change, you're just moving.
No, you're just moving one expense from one
I wanted to get
the
that out
other.
there.
Yeah, I mean, it's not an increase. The increase in this is for item number 2110, which I talked about in my budget message, as far as updating the municipal code, which hasn't been updated since 2008. We pass ordinances in the municipality, and we have a code book, and it's also online, and that hasn't been updated, and it's been languishing for years, and I believe that should be updated. And General Code Publishers has given us an estimate of $18,200, and that's the increase to $20,000 in that line item, 2110. Other, obviously, increases are hospitalization, pension, just as in the other budgets in the other departments that have been discussed. And that's really about it as far as any kind of
Questions or any items for Tim?
significant increases.
Well, thank you, Tim, on that, on both your budget as well as the council and mayor budget. Council, I'm going to open up for any discussion on the budget issues. Do we have any further discussion? Seeing none, scheduling of our next budget work session. I will leave that up to you if you think we still need to have another one, which I would hope that we would. Maybe send an email to Tim on some prospective dates, if you would.
Well, we have in the budget calendar that Sean put out back in July, we have next Thursday and the following, next Thursday, the 13th, I believe.
I'm talking about beside them.
Oh,
I always
besides
want to
them.
leave them open.
Well, they haven't
for-
been advertised yet.
Right.
Okay, maybe
There's
what
one
I.
on the 20th.
Maybe what I should do, if council's okay with this, is, because if they're going to be advertised, they should be advertised tomorrow. I can go ahead and advertise those, and if you have them, you have them, if you don't, you don't. Because if you cancel, then we can just put a notice on the door that they're canceled and put it on the website. And that's at the pleasure of council, what they want to do.
Council, I know this is not a voting meeting, but do we have consensus to allow him to advertise? I think it's appropriate.
Would you
That's
need
what
to
we wanna do.
advertise for two more, or would one be sufficient?
Well, that's up to council, how you.
We fulfilled our quota by two.
Yeah, what's going on here tonight is the second public hearing, which is
No, I'm
required
fine
under
with
the
it. I
Home
was
Rule
just
Charter.
questioning whether you need one or two.
You've satisfied your requirements.
Yeah. You have
Maybe
satisfied
just
your
do the
requirements.
one for now, and if we need another one, we can do that, if the council's okay with that. Or do you want to keep both of them advertised?
What's the cost difference? I mean, if we put them both and cancel one, or if we have to do them separate like that?
What is off the top of my head, I don't know what the cost would be. Usually advertising a small advertisement, and we would have to put it in the Trib and not the Times Express. I don't know, maybe $125. I'm guessing, Linda.
Yeah.
I'm guessing. I mean, it depends on how small, you make it very.
Well, what do you want
We put
to,
them
what are
both
we
in,
directing
then-
Tim to do? But one or
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
By extending the budget here, what are we going to discuss since we've
Well,
gone through? I'm just curious. as to
Okay, it's
what-
not a budget hearing. The
I understand.
hearings have been satisfied. It would be a budget workshop, which would be technically called that. And that's up to council unless you want to discuss anything further.
Do we have a
Yeah.
budget workshop scheduled for the work session of December?
No. I don't believe so. I don't.
Could we do that?
Would that be reasonable to do?
Yes,
That
you
way
can.
That's, to
Yes,
me,
you can.
yeah.
Would
Yeah,
that have to
you
be
can do whatever you want.
But the public can still have comment.
Oh, certainly.
100%.
Oh, most definitely.
Right, okay.
Public can comment on any time.
So could we schedule it for the work session of?
Then we're already advertising for the work
My
session
point.
anyway.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Then don't do that then. You got your direction. You have your direction. Is everybody good with that on council?
I am. I don't know about anybody else.
I'm good.
I'm okay with it.
Linda, Nick? You guys okay with that?
With putting it
Yeah.
in December's?
Put it in our work session, have another budget workshop.
Just a workshop at the work session of, a month from now.
Yeah.
this date.
So it would have been,
That's fine.
it'd be similar to tonight's event.
Yeah, that's fine.
Correct.
And then we vote on it on the regular. meeting.
Following Tuesday.
Or we have until December 31st.
You have until December 31st
Right.
to
Right.
actually
Okay.
pass the budget.
We could always schedule later meetings if we have to, after our regular council meeting for December. We could always schedule them later in the month if we feel there needs to be more.
Well, let's just get this straight. I see the consensus over here for the work session. We're okay to put the
Work
budget
session.
session
And
on it.
would that be at a 6:30 start?
Oh, wonderful.
I don't think that's necessary.
Okay.
Yeah, because you're
Again,
not
it's
going
up
to
to
have,
you.
I understand, yeah. Regular time should work, I would think.
Okay.
You have your new directions.
Well, don't have to advertise anything, really.
No, that's correct.
Safe
There was a
on that.
typo on our budget work session. We already had our public comment, so I'm going to ask for a motion to close the budget work session.
So moved.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, ayes have it. And now we'll go back to our work session, if you will, and we're down to our reports of our municipal staff.
Mr. Mayor,
I'm sorry, yes,
could I have a break for just a moment?
you certainly can.
Paper.
Folks, let's take about a 5-minute break for Sharon, and we are good.
Lunch more anyway.
We're back in session, and we're going to end up with our work session, and we're on our reports of our municipal staff. And Bruce, do you have any more for us?
Not tonight.
Tim, you have a couple items there, and if you would, please.
We've talked about both of them.
All right. Paul Hughes, oh, he's gone, that's right. How about you, Sean, anything for us? Very good. And we'll go over, and we'll start off with you tonight, Linda.
I just want to thank everyone that came up, all our department heads, and the information that was given to us. I would also like to, again, thank Mr. Lally and everyone that worked on the budget. It's made it a lot more clear for us, changing cost factors from it and putting them where they actually belong. I mean, it may look odd to a lot of people out there, but in the long run, it's where everything's supposed to be, and I certainly appreciate it. It makes it easier for me to understand it and read it. So I'd just like to say thank you for all the work that was put into it, and that's all I have.
Thank you. Nick?
I'm going to follow up on those comments. Great job by the employees, by staff in the finance department, Mr. Little, and the department heads for putting everything together. And great job for the ones that presented this evening. And Linda, I know this is actually your department, the library. They're having a book sale
Oh, that, yeah.
currently. It's this weekend, isn't it?
Yes, I'm sorry.
Oh, do you know? Book sale at the library. They didn't mention it whenever they were up here. Our fill-ins, our alternatives for the library budget. But there's a book sale that once again they try to generate revenue at the library as well. So head over there and check that out. That's all I have for this evening.
Thank you. Ron?
Thanks.
Most of my report I'm going to say for Tuesday night. The only thing I wanted to say was ditto on all the municipal staff and the finance officer and Tim preparing this budget. The other thing, the only one thing I wanted to make an announcement on was Cooper Road was repaired, and it didn't get all the construction maybe that it should have. In other words, the banking and that, because they had to shut down the road and do a total reconstruction. But as far as what we could do with the budget we had, that's taken care of. The only thing I'm going to ask is maybe they could put some warning signs up, for that bend at the bottom coming from both directions. And other than that, it's done.
I think they have chevrons, Ron. They're going to put some chevrons up.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
Thank you, Ron. Jim?
Yeah, Mayor, I have a couple of things. The Monroeville Convention Center has some events going on. The Greensburg Train and Toy Show is going on November 8th and 9th. American Cornhole, Friday and Saturday, the 14th and 15th. Pittsburgh Arts and Crafts, November 21st through the 23rd. The Showmasters Gun Show is Saturday and Sunday, the 29th and 30th. Steel City Con is Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, December 5th through the 7th. And the PA Power Sports Show is Monday, December 12th through the 14th. I'd also like to remind everybody, which you already said once, Light Up Night is November 25th, 7 p.m. at the Old Stone Church. And the most important thing I have to say is I want a very, very special thanks. It would take me forever to thank everybody, all the people involved in helping get the Northern Pike Hill project done and over with. It's done, it's complete, and it looks great. Thank you.
Steve?
All I have, I'd like to thank all the department heads for their presentations, and Mr. Little, Mr. Lally, thank you. That's all I have.
Tom?
I'd like to say thanks to Mr. Johns for his diligence on Northern Pike with the gas and the water drainage and all that other stuff. But I also like to thank the staff for their fine presentations for the budget. This is my first budget program, and I thought that everything was explained very, very well. And just, again, thanks for everything. Thanks. You guys did a terrific job.
And I'm going to wrap it up just saying thank you to all the department heads as well, and to you, Tim, and to Sean for all your hard work. I do have one comment, and Tim, maybe you can help me out with this. It has to do with Pitcairn Road. I know that we met with the county exec and some of their staff, and they have not got back to us yet. And I know that you residents are asking about Pitcairn Road. Both Tim and I and Paul Hughes, we've asked them to please consider opening the road with the Jersey barriers against the hillside. Mike Adams has been, monitoring that for the past year plus, and there's been no movement there. As a matter of fact, our own staff even cleaned that hillside up with any debris that may fall. So we haven't heard back from the county yet on that. So soon as we do, and maybe Tim, if you would, maybe we can call the county tomorrow and see what their recommendations are, and we'll get back to you on that Tuesday if we have any more update on that. With that, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Is there a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you and good night, ladies and gentlemen.